Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Ringside Cinema. I am Money Mike, and today we're going to talk about some releases. And both AEW and the WWE have made releases over these last couple days. And I want to talk about it because right now, I think wrestling is at a period where I think if you are a released, or if you do get released, that you are in a great spot. We're not talking about like 10 years ago, 15 years ago, where the WWE was the only place in town. Now, granted, yes, Impact Wrestling TNA was around, but it wasn't like this big thing of competition, so to speak, for the WWE. It wasn't in the same ballpark as AEW, where AEW came along in 2019 and that completely changed the market of pro wrestling. It changed everything. And the biggest beneficiaries, besides the fans, were the wrestlers themselves. Because now they had legitimate option or a legitimate option to go to. And even at that time when AEW started, even New Japan was kind of on a roll where you could go over there. I mean, we saw Chris Jericho go over to New Japan before AEW started. And so now with if you are released, you do have options. And unfortunately, I do think right now, I think both WWE and AEW both suffer from having bloated rosters. I think they've gotten to the point where there's too many talent and not enough TV time to give to all those talent. And obviously, we always talk about every year or when contracts are up, we say, "Oh, we want to see so and so in this company." And more so than ever, when AEW first launched, when the WWE would have releases, it was like, okay, cool. AEW needed bodies, they needed talent to help fill their roster, they needed talent to help get their promotion up and running. So it was great. So, like a John Moxley, when his contract was up in WWE, he showed up at Double or Nothing 2019. He was part of the whole launch of AEW, and that was great for the business of pro wrestling. That was great for the wrestlers because they had a viable option. Could you imagine if Moxley would have had his contract run out before AEW release and there really wasn't that option there to where he probably would have had just re-signed with the WWE? But because of that, and because Tony Khan over the next couple years would then go all New York Yankee and just sign all these WWE free agents because the WWE had a bloated roster. So then AEW would say, okay, we'll take your guys because we have a new company. We need the bodies. So, okay, fine. Release an Adam Cole. Release a Daniel Bryan Danielson. Okay, cool, fine. Release Claudio, fine. AEW had no problem taking the free agents from the WWE, and so many fans were like, "Oh, I can't wait to see so and so in AEW," and out from Vince McMahon. And so much of it was, "Oh, Vince didn't book this person good, so AEW is going to clearly book them better." And let's just say we learned our lesson. We should learned our lesson by saying that, oh, this person is going to be booked better in this company, this person is going to be booked better in this company. Because let's be honest, a lot of the AEW or a lot of the WWE to AEW free agents have not really improved their status on the card going from one company to the other. The fans we're saying, oh, so and so is going to be better, so and so is going to do this. Well, I mean, come on now. Let's be honest here. I mean, look, you think MJF is kind of regretting signing that new contract with AEW when you consider how AEW stars have been treated in the WWE? I mean, I'm just saying. Which brings me to the releases this past week, where we've seen Sonya Deville, Isla Dawn, the Good Brothers, Cedric Alexander, Aleister Black, Miro, Ricky Starks for AEW, all be released over this past week or so, and it's kind of interesting because to me, when I see like Sonya Deville being released or I see Isla Dawn, and like it drives me crazy, especially after Raw on Monday where we had that great tag team match between Damage Control and Liv Morgan and Raquel. And I said on Twitter, I was like, or X, whatever you call it, it's one of those things where I said, okay, this is the type of booking that the women's tag team division needs. Because because the WWE were not giving them the TV time to tell a story, put on a great match, allow the fans to get invested into those tag team titles. And we saw on Raw a great match between Damage Control and Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez, and then that makes me puzzled because I'm going, wait a minute, why did you release one half of your actual tag teams, of one of your actual tag teams that could have been in that spot? Like, why would you release Isla Dawn? Because obviously, Alba Fire, Isla Dawn, they were the tag team champions at one point last year. They got that huge win in Scotland last year to win the tag titles, and it was this big deal. And then for Isla Dawn to be released, it's kind of confusing, especially after you see that match on Raw and you go, this is all the women's tag team division needs. So why would you release one half of one of your tag teams? Then I look at Sonya Deville and I go, why wasn't she feuding with Lyra Valkyria? Like, yeah, clearly Ivy Nile is going to be feuding with her for that women's Intercontinental Championship, but Sonya Deville is a good hand. She literally could work with Lyra in a feud for that women's Intercontinental Championship, and they just made these titles. They need they need bodies for these women's mid-card titles. So releasing Sonya Deville to me doesn't make any sense. Like, why are you releasing women when your mid-card titles need proper booking and feuds? And look, I get it. Everyone knows NXT, plethora of talent down there waiting in the wings to be called up after WrestleMania in the draft, whatever happens. But again, I do think the WWE at this point is kind of is just bloated to the point where they don't really need to add anybody else. They don't need to sign anybody else. I think they just need to utilize who they have on their roster, who they have down in NXT. And that's the same with AEW. Like to me, when I look at AEW, like, yeah, Tony Khan went all crazy bringing in all these WWE guys, but like, how many of them have actually been successful? Not a whole lot. So where do the likes of Sonya Deville, the Good Brothers, Ricky Starks? Obviously, yes, Ricky Starks is probably going to be NXT bound. Aleister Black, yeah, he's he's probably going to be on SmackDown with on SmackDown because, well, his wife Selena Vega works in the WWE. She's on SmackDown, similar to Andrade going back to the WWE in part because of his wife Charlotte being in the WWE. But also, Good Brothers, I could see going back to New Japan. Maybe TNA. I think right now I look at AEW, WWE, they're both kind of bloated. They just need to they need to trim the fat. Like, I don't want to see people get released, but both AEW and WWE right now have so bloated of rosters right now. When you count that you have AEW has Ring of Honor, you have the WWE has NXT. Right now, they have so much talent right now that probably they could do some more releases and still be all right. And it's one of those things right now where I think TNA could be the big beneficiary to all of this. Because right now, TNA wrestling is kind of on the up. And they did the whole rebrand last year. They're kind of, they have this partnership with the WWE. So obviously for some people, some of these releases, obviously they would still have a connection to the WWE if they were to go to TNA. But TNA right now, I feel like has the most openings or the best chance for a lot of these people to succeed. Cedric Alexander, obviously he'll probably go to AEW because Tony Khan loves rehashing old WWE gimmicks. And they'll probably just do the whole Hurt Syndicate thing and reunite the original Hurt Business. Even though that hasn't changed ratings at all one bit, despite the fact the fans have said they love the Hurt Business so much, but ratings obviously don't show that. Aleister Black, is he going to be NXT bound? Like, I feel like he could be main roster for sure, but I think he could work down to NXT. Ricky Starks is definitely, I could see someone being shown in the crowd at NXT Vengeance Day this Saturday. Miro, it just really depends. Does he still want to wrestle? Like, where is he at where is he at in his head? Because he's been off AEW TV for so long. So it does make you kind of wonder, does he still want to wrestle? Does he still want to do this? And I saw a tweet from CJ Perry, aka Lana, and she interestingly tweeted something about Rusev Day, like Happy Rusev Day or something when he got his release, and I was like, that's odd. She referred to him as his WWE character name, and we all know Lana, Rusev in the WWE. Could the WWE bring back Rusev and Lana and kind of go back to that gimmick of what they had before, and potentially now with Vince being no longer being there, and Triple H and Shawn Michaels being in charge down in NXT, could Rusev and Lana find better success in the WWE this time around compared to their first go around? That's similar to Aleister Black. Could he find better success in WWE now that Vince is not there? I think right now, Triple H, Tony Khan, they need to assess their roster and go, can we really bring these guys in? Can we bring in more talent, or do we just utilize who we have? Because again, I go back to what I said about Mercedes. When you look at Mercedes, everybody was saying, is she going to go back to the WWE? Is she going to choose AEW? Well, the thing is, the WWE didn't need to sign her. Like, it wasn't like a priority signing because they had so much talent in NXT. So, would someone like an Aleister Black be really a priority when you have so much talent down in NXT, waiting in the wings, so to speak. And then, same thing with AEW. They have a plethora of talent down in Ring of Honor. Like, do you really need to bring in more people at this point? Which is why I think TNA Wrestling right now needs to capitalize and bring in some of these people. I think Sonya Deville, you put her in the Knockouts division, I think that's a huge upgrade. I think she's never been able to really show what she can do as a wrestler, and I think if you put her in that Knockouts division, I think she'll probably impress a lot of people. Comment below. Let me know what you guys think. Do you guys think that TNA Wrestling or even New Japan is going to benefit from these recent releases? Who do you want to see go where? Comment below. And as always, I've been your host, Money Mike, and you've been watching Ringside Cinema. Ringside Cinema, legends at the core. Tune in, feel the rush. Wrestling meets the screen. Ringside Cinema, living out the dream. Living out the dream. Living out the dream. Lights down, time to go. Cheers for heroes we know. Ringside forever. Oh. Wrestling never gets old.